bringing the heat and humidity with it.
Breaking now at 5, not guilty. Within the last 45 minutes, former President Trump has now uttered that phrase for the third time, this time in a Washington, D.C. federal courtroom. You are looking live at Washington, D.C. right now, outside of that courtroom where police are starting to clear the streets. Thank you for joining us. I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. The president facing what many legal experts say his most serious charges related to his alleged attempt to overturn the 2020 presidential election. We have live team coverage. Matt Tallhelm monitoring breaking details from the Live Center. We start with Chris Lovengood in the studio. And Chris, this is yet another historic moment for us.
You know, it's one, Gerald and Deborah, we've been watching very closely, but I want to kind of walk you through what happened during the former president's arraignment today. Just some of the bullet points we kind of made here. So one of the biggest things here, as you mentioned off at the top, the former president pleaded not guilty in this case. The judge also read Trump his rights, and he acknowledged that he understood them. The judge also made sure to go through what is going to happen next, those kind of things. The judge says that Trump was to be released on the condition that he doesn't talk with witnesses in the case except through or in the presence of counsel. Now, if Trump violates this, an arrest warrant can be issued for him and he could be detained. Trump says he understands these conditions and the penalties for violation. Now, even before the arraignment started, moments before that, one of his attorneys spoke to reporters outside the federal courtroom. Take a listen.
This is not a coincidence. This is election interference at its finest against the leading candidate right now for president, for either party. President Trump is under siege in a way that we have never seen before.
Now, I just want to give you a quick reminder of the charges in this case. The former president is facing conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an official proceeding, and conspiracy against the right to vote and to have that vote counted. Now, yes, former President Trump was arraigned today on the most recent indictment, but the 4 charges he faces in that case aren't the end of his legal troubles. In June, he was indicted in the case of classified documents found at his Florida home. He faces 37 charges in that case, and the March indictment of 34 charges in the alleged hush money payment scheme during the 2016 presidential campaign to hide allegations of extramarital affairs. Now, Mr. Trump has denied any wrongdoing in each of those cases, and we do know that the next court date in this indictment is August 28th. And I should also mention, Deborah and Gerald, right now we're talking about just 3 indictments with a possible 4th one in Georgia that could be coming soon as well.
All right, Chris Lovengood in our studio. Thank you, Chris.
Matt Tallhelm is monitoring developments in the WRAL Live Center. Matt?
Yeah, Deborah, I want to show you right now, the former president is arriving at the airport, in Reagan National Airport. Just within the last few minutes, you can see the mass of the journalists here getting out of that motorcade. We are expecting to hear from the former president making remarks here for the first time today. He hasn't said anything publicly today since arriving here in Washington from New Jersey, but we continue to watch as that unfolds there. This is the scene outside the courthouse, in the federal courthouse in Washington. You can see the media out there waiting to hear if we'll hear from any other attorneys involved in all of this. But as soon as we do hear the president, former President Trump stepping up there, you can see he is in one of these big SUVs there. They're bringing out some umbrellas, raining in Washington. He'll step up there. We expect him to say a few comments after this hearing. We'll bring it to you live here in the Live Center.
All right, Matt, thank you. We will continue to follow breaking developments here on television and on WRAL.com. You can also find all the latest news on the WRAL News app. NBC's coverage of the former president's arraignment continues with in-depth reporting on NBC